What's up, guys? My name is Tam, and you're tuned into a very live Tam Talks. I want to first and foremost thank you guys so much for actually tuning in with me. I wanted to actually talk about something that is local to me. I'm not sure where you guys are sitting in your parts of the world, but being here in Texas, there's been a lot going on in the media. More so specifically, I want to get into actually talking about Marvin Scott III. If you're not familiar with this particular, I would call incident, Marvin is local to Texas and he is no longer with us. And I would say by no fault, of his own. By nothing that he specifically did, but on March the 14th, unfortunately, his life was taken, and Marvin was only 26 years old. And if you're not familiar with this case, let me just catch you up and tell you the bits and pieces as far as kind of what I know, what happened. So Marvin was in custody for marijuana. While I don't partake in marijuana, I know a lot of people that do. And if you yourself don't partake in marijuana, I'm pretty sure you know someone that partakes in this particular thing. So do those individuals that do they deserve death? I'm curious. I want to first let that sink in. Does that individual that you know of, do they deserve to die because they partake in marijuana? I'm curious there, because that's going to lead us to further conversation for me to really understand the psyche of how people think. I got into a little hot water here recently because I posted a video. I'm not sure if you guys seen this video of the guy that was at Holiday Inn, and he was innately spazzing out on a keyboard, spazzing out on a computer desk, just really wilding out. And in my mind, he doesn't deserve death, right? He has issues, but he doesn't deserve to die for those issues. And very similarly here, Marvin had an issue. He had an issue. He had schizophrenia is what his parents said. And he was initially presented with medication that he took, but it didn't allow him to feel well. So he decided to cope with schizophrenia from schizophrenia with marijuana. Okay. So let me just paint that picture for you. Now I'm going to read off the details of this case because I don't want to miss anything, nor do I want to misquote kind of what happened. So Lee Merrick, who's actually the lawyer in this case, as per normal, who deals with a lot of the issues that go on in Black communities, said that he was arrested and in custody for at least 10 hours. Allen police arrested Marvin, who again was 26, on a marijuana possession charge on March the 14th after officers found him sitting next to a joint at the Allen Premium Outlets. Somewhere in that interaction, they sprayed Marvin with pepper spray. And then they also proceeded to put a spit mask on Marvin. Now, Marvin being in distress, and I'm pretty sure I would be too, and I'm pretty sure whoever you are that's watching, you also would be in distress if something like that were to happen to you, to put you in a spit mask and put you inhumane, I would more so commonly say, that you would be in distress. And they took him to the hospital, released him while still in distress. And in that time frame, Marvin passed away. Now, there were 8 jailers who allegedly were responsible for this incident, and their names have recently been released. And I'll get to those names, and I'll tell you also why names are important. But I'm going to say this. In my community, and this is why I'm so freaking frustrated. In my community, Black people, we see from the lens of being a Black person it's something that we don't want to see from that lens. And we wish all men were created and treated equal. And while we are created equal, we're not treated as such. And it's constantly at the forefront of our mind, and it's constantly being pushed. It's not a narrative, it's reality for us that we are not treated as if we're a human. We are not treated with the ability to go through due process. Oftentimes, whoever feels as if we have infringed on whatever becomes the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And I'm so sick of it. And I'm sick of it because I went back and forth on my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel with individuals who were adamantly defending this young man at the Holiday Inn for having a mental breakdown, for having a crisis at work. And I'm far too often reminded that me as a Black individual who's been called the N-word while I was at work on multiple occasions, people call me the N-word online. They send me messages. I cannot, nor do I have the leisure or the privilege to go crazy, to break down, or to show any sort of emotion because somebody's going to taint me with the narrative that I'm an angry Black woman. I'm simply angry. And I hate it. I hate it here that we always come to the defense of others and their emotion. And when they commit mass murder, they were having a bad day. And when they do crimes, it was, oh, well, they just needed someone to love them. But if something happens to a Black man, specifically a Black man who had schizophrenia, who had marijuana, he's now somehow dead. Where's the compassion for this person? Where's the compassion? Where is the outpouring of love? Where is that at? I don't see that. And it's sad to say that I got to see from this scope and from this lens, but here in America with a KKK, unfortunately, that's the way that I see things. I don't see that people often care about us and our community when we're being mistreated. Why is that? Now, let's get to what happened in this case. Now, furthermore, I saw that Marvin's parents weren't told of his death until the next day. Why did they wait so long to try to, I won't say cover it up, but why did they wait so long to even inform next of kin that he was deceased? And they weren't even giving an opportunity to speak to someone. He wasn't given dignity. He wasn't treated fairly. They sent the parents a text message. Imagine this. Imagine having a child not going out robbing anybody, a child not going out killing anybody, hurting anyone. Imagine it being a normal day. You hadn't heard from your child in a day, and all of a sudden you get a text message that they're gone. How would that make you feel? I'm astounded. I'm astounded at the way this man was treated. I'm astounded at the way the family has been treated. And it's been a month now. They hadn't gotten any answers. The parents called to try to get answers as to what happened. And they tell them they need to speak to the Texas Rangers. They're not giving them any information. And recently, as of, I believe yesterday or Monday, they finally were able to see a 5-hour-long video of their child in distress. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. I'm appalled. I live in Texas, and time again, I won't say that it's racist, but I will say sensitivity as it relates to Black people. There needs to be reform. There needs to be police reform. And this is why. We are being treated carelessly in our societies. All right, let me get back into more details because I would like to say he was the chief. Yeah, I would like to say he was the chief, did have some words. And he did mention on the video that he said that the officers failed to act, their failure to take steps that they were trained in regards to mental health and distress. It was Sheriff Jim Skinner who said that they fired 7 of those jailers and then the other one resigned. Now, here as of recently, one of those same jailers was reinstated as early as last week. How is that? How do you carelessly kill someone and then you get reinstated for your job? Is that, if you kill someone at work, would they let you come back to work the next week? I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure out the thought process of why is there so much backing for people who do bad jobs? If I mess up at work, you can guarantee I'm gonna get fired. No one's gonna call the hotline to make sure I kept my job. Guess what? I need to move on. Maybe I'm not fit for that role. And in this case, this isn't as simple as not putting a decimal point on a spreadsheet. You killed someone. Your inability to do your job correctly caused a death, and more so recently has been stated to be a homicide. So you murdered someone. And let's find out who those individuals are. And I'm going to tell you also why understanding who these individuals are important. The first individual, his name is Blaze. He's worked for the Collin County Sheriff's Office since December of 2019. Before that, he was a jailer and peace officer in the Dallas County Sheriff's Office for more than 7 years, beginning July 2012, and the Denton County Sheriff's Office for 5 months in 2012. He also worked for the FBI as a peace officer for 23 years before working as a jailer. So a lot of experience, but not used experience, right? The next person is Austin Wong, was a jailer with the Denton County Sheriff's Office nearly 7 years when he left in 2017 to work for the Collin County Sheriff's Office. So he's been there for 4 years. Justin Patrick, 9-year veteran. Rafael Paredes, jailer with the Collin County for just over 2 years. James, 4 years. Alex, 2 years. Andres, 19 years. And all of those names, and we don't know which one was reinstated. Why is understanding these names important? I'll tell you why. Because if you're in Collin County and you're dealing with one of these individuals and you have issues, whether it be mental or you're in distress, you need to be aware of who you have there with you and their inability to act. If you are in distress and you need help and you're dying, these individuals might not be the ones that are going to be there to help you. So in terms of this particular case, Marvin Scott, where will it go? Will the family get justice? I don't know. I want to remain hopeful, but time and time again, these narratives play out to show that we need the same resolve, which is police reform. We need our county officials to support us in these communities to make sure something like this doesn't happen again, not to my community, not to your community, not to anyone. Parents should be on the edges of their seat. I don't care what color you are. This could have been your child. Is your child perfect? Does your child get a speeding ticket? Does your child smoke marijuana? Does your child do anything where this could have potentially been your child? And if so, doesn't this make you a little bit uneasy? And if that is the case, make sure you guys are using your voice. Doesn't matter if you have a YouTube, doesn't matter if you have a platform, doesn't matter if you're a millionaire, whatever you do, make sure you're using your voice to voice these concerns, to change our community. It doesn't just start with a mass of people. It starts one person at a time, one person speaking up at a time, because we can catch these scenarios before they happen, but you have to be willing to not be silent. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Tam. I'm shaking, like I'm so frustrated. My name is Tam with Tam Talks, and I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out.